Nothing on this show is authorized by the Food and Drug Administration, and nothing said here is intended to treat, cure, prevent, or diagnose any disease. Contact your physician before starting a diet or exercise regimen, including supplementation. This is not medical advice and is for entertainment purposes only.
Oh, yeah. I'm back, baby. I've been gone from the podcast for like maybe 2.5 shows, but I'm here now. Hey, Joey Savage. Taylor Knox.
I'm here. We're here.
Welcome to the Supp podcast. And today we've got a unique set of guests. Now, I'm going to let them introduce themselves in just a minute, but just full disclosure, TK and I, we both worked with this brand, and both on formulation side, on the packaging side. We're obviously going to be very excited about talking about some of this stuff. But I want to introduce Phil and Nick from Vita Life Science.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
You got to go in there.
Haven't been my first podcast.
This is really your first podcast?
Pretty much.
They're pretty easy.
Yeah, I've been kind of reluctant to do them, but if I was going to do one, I was going to do it with you guys.
So what is your role within the Vita sphere?
Vita Sphere, co-founder, my brother Steve. I work on product development, brand development, and all the U.S. distribution and marketing for Aurora Nutrascience.
And Nick?
What's up, guys? It's
Howdy.
good to see you. Hi, Phil. My name's Nick Alvarado. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer of Vita Life Science. I'm the resident homosexual, and all that good stuff.
I think you need that on your business card.
I love saying that word because people like jump out of their skin when they say it. So it's funny.
I think that's a great way to introduce it. Like, I'm the resident homosexual.
Yeah.
And be like, oh, really?
Yeah.
I think that's also
sophisticated.
it might be part of your superpower
Yeah.
because you're a really good marketer.
Oh, thank you.
But
I appreciate that.
But I think you have a taste. You know, you can notice design. Wow.
Oh, absolutely. Interesting thing about Nick is we've been friends for a long time, and I used to shop at Saks Fifth Avenue. And that's where my wife and I met Nick.
Okay.
And Nick was going through cosmetology school at the time. And I had gone to my wife and said, you should have Nick come to work at your salon when he gets his license. So he did, and we became friends, and then he went off to Berkeley, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Got his marketing degree. And about a little over a year ago, my wife says to me one day, she's texting, and she sets her phone down, and she says, you should hire Nick. And I'm like, I really wasn't looking for anybody. She goes, Nick's a go-getter, and you need somebody like him.
Ever since I've known both of you guys, I've known Nick to be definitely that guy.
Well,
Oh my God! Thank you so much. I didn't realize this was going to be about me.
Well, it's a good story.
My favorite person.
And then I started thinking about it, and I wasn't really looking for somebody, but I started looking at evaluating our company's needs, and particularly as it related to culture building and branding, and that some things I felt that could be better. And he's calling me, and meanwhile I'm just pushing him into voicemail. And then one day I picked up the phone and had him come in, and he came in with this little computer and gave a presentation and pretty much touched on all the points that I felt like the company was lacking. And I haven't looked back since. It's been a great hire. So
Yeah, I'm a persistent fuck. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I have a tech sales background. I'm a Dell boy. That was my history right here in Texas. So so I know how to bang the phone and get what I want. So
he definitely was
and not accept no for an answer.
Never, no.
He definitely didn't accept no. And then I think another interesting one was when we looked at developing the sports nutrition line with Aurora Nutrascience. For me, the one thing I knew, like personally, from doing some things well and not so well, that I needed to like marshal in or bring in the best. If you want to be the best, you got to work with the best. So I started looking at people we wanted to work with. It came down to two formulators, and I spoke with one, and I think I caught Joey off of this podcast through my research, and I started doing a background thing on him, and then we got on a phone call and had a really good talk, and it came down to, I remember he said this to me, it came down to, so what I'm hearing is you want to do really cool shit. And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, then we're a good fit.
I love that.
And then we started working
good.
together. That was the best. That was another great decision that we made. And then I knew from a branding and labeling, I said, hey, who do we we need to up it up a level too. And then that's where Taylor came in.
So so everyone can get an idea of what we're talking about, Vita is the official distribution arm of Aurora NutraScience. Can you fill in everyone at home on like the history of Aurora, what they do, where they're sold, kind of thing, as far as like what is like the existing footprint of Aurora before we get into where they're about to be?
They're a Toronto-based high-end nutraceutical manufacturer. They don't do any co-packing for anybody. Everything that they produce is for them. And in many cases, they even make the bottle on some of the bottles that we use. So they're completely self-contained. David and Brandon Johnson be the principals. I came across them as a user of liposomal supplements and kind of stumbled onto them, and I noticed that they were looking for distribution partners and partners across the different parts of the country, and picked up the phone and reached out to them. Clicked really well with David, and it's been a great partnership ever since. But what makes them unique is they do everything in-house.
Like everything.
Everything. From microbial testing. They've got a level 7 clean room. They do all their encapsulation. All the manufacturing's done in-house.
That's what was like interesting to me working with you. The fact that you guys were your own manufacturer was attractive because obviously I've done that kind of thing before.
Yeah.
And what made it interesting is the fact that you guys, everything is liposomal. Everything.
That's all we do. Everything was liposomal, and I think the other part, after we're having these type of partnerships for me have been something I've done for probably the last 30 years, working with different brands and helping build brands. They've been the most inclusive about it, at least allowing input and helping driving product development and all the other factors that go in. Because at the end of the day, I'm the one that's going to get held accountable for the result.
When you approached me, like I already knew who you guys were because like TK's gone with me to Vitamin Shop. Usually if we ever go, we're going to be in there a while because I'm shopping for like new things. I'm shopping for bargains, and I'm getting an idea of like, who are the new faces on the block and everything.
And label reading takes time, a little time.
Well, yeah.
He likes to press the salespeople and get to know what they know, and he'll pick up every single thing in the store.
Some of them are pretty good there. I found like if you hit the right story, some of their people are pretty good.
I love Vitamin Shop.
Were you one of those people? Didn't you work in retail?
I've worked in GNC and Vitamin Shop.
Yeah, that's right.
And in an independent store.
So are you kind of like also quizzing them, just trying to see their knowledge?
See how sharp they are.
I love it. Yeah, totally.
We'll go to the probiotics, and then it's just like, I want to go over here for like 30 minutes because this is going to take a while.
Well, I mean, they have a hard time with probiotics and keeping up. But I'll be like, I'll ask for a specific species, and they're going to be like,
it's a fast-moving category.
The taxonomy.
They have to go to their computer and like search that one up usually.
There's still a lot of research being done. I don't think it's not even close to being
hardly gotten into it.
Infancy stage.
Yeah. But I had known about you guys because like I literally was holding your NAD resveratrol product in my hand. I wasn't in Texas. I was in a different store. I want to say I was like in Ohio or something. And I was like, am I going to buy this? And I'm like, price is a little high. And I'm like, maybe, I don't know. And then like, it was a week or two after that, after I'd set that bottle back on the shelf that you guys, that you'd reached out to me. And I was like, oh, I know who these guys are.
I know who this guy is, yeah.
Yeah, because I'd already seen him in Vitamin Shop. But you guys, you're in Sprouts. You're in a lot of different places.
We were in Sprouts. We're working on it again.
Yeah.
Leave it at that.
So like the natural grocery segment is kind of where you guys are.
Yeah.
Mostly health food stores.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I mean, when I heard about Aurora, because I didn't know about liposomes or anything at all.
Yeah.
And I was hating my job in tech and looking for something different. And I was at a lunch and someone was talking about their vitamin C that they were taking. It was liposomal, and they were explaining the technology and all that stuff.
This is why you're at Dell?
This is why I was at Dell, yeah. And they're like, it's this brand called Aurora. And I'm like, oh, I think I know the guys that, are with Aurora. And it ended up because I live in Los Angeles, and there's Earth Bar which is part of Equinox, and also have freestanding stores in West Hollywood and Brentwood and other areas. Anyways, they're big evangelists of our product, and so the sales guy there, speaking of, right, was really pushing Aurora because he believed in like the technology. Obviously, our dosage is really high; it's a great value, right? And so that's kind of how it kind of clicked. I'm like, oh, well, maybe they need like a sales rep or something like that. And then, here we are almost 2 years later.
That was another thing I noticed, is that even though your stuff is liposomal, usually brands will see that as a justification for bringing the dosage down, because you do get better absorption with liposomes, and you guys still have clinical dosages of everything. It's just that clinical dose plus liposomal.
That's definitely one of our calling cards. And when you look at the brand, if you look at even our NAD product is 300 milligrams with the 50 milligrams of resveratrol to get that SERT activation.
Yeah.
You look at some of the other brands are 100, maybe 50. Some of the there's one glutathione brand out there at 150 milligrams. It's getting $80. We have a 750 and a 500 milligram product.
And you're not charging $80 a bottle.
No.
So for you people at home, liposomes. All right. So I in my crystal ball, I know that like the absorption wars are coming. And there's so many different ways. So like you when you buy supplements, usually like an amino acid or a vitamin or whatever, it's like in this free form. A liposome is it's a double layer of fat, but these fats are functional fats. They're phospholipids, my favorite kind of fats that there could possibly be. And what makes liposomal delivery forms superior is the fact that all of the membranes of all of your cells are also composed of these same phospholipid bilayers of these molecular arrangements. They're like in these rows of two. And when a liposome comes into contact with it, it's just like when you see a bubble merge into another bubble. It's like that. The absorption is instantaneous because these two different bubbles are made out of the same thing, and they'll just merge into one. So this does a couple of things. It protects it against the acidic environment of the stomach. So if there's any breakdown that could potentially happen there, it doesn't happen because it's encased in a bubble. And then it goes into your small intestine, and usually they're of a particle size that's small enough to fit in between the intestinal cells. It gets into the bloodstream really quickly, and because it's in the bubble again, it does not get excreted by the liver. So you get abundant transmission of this molecule to the entire periphery of all your tissues. And you get really good absorption because it's essentially speaking the cell's native language of phospholipids. So that's mainly why it has such a leg up over like anything that's in its free form.
Well, it was what attracted me to the whole category.
Yeah.
I was a user of the products, and then you get a little bit frustrated with the lack of availability, especially like 15 years ago. They were hard to track down. E-commerce business wasn't as evolved as it is now with tracking, and it wasn't like the Amazon got it the next day. You had to wait weeks, so you had to plan a couple weeks out if you were going to buy these products. And quite frankly, the prices were horrific.
Oh, yeah.
And then, you start going to the local health food store and you start talking to people like I did. They were getting calls for these products. They just didn't know where to get them.
And it's just they were rare for the longest amount of time. And it's like only now is like liposomal really like starting to gain traction.
But that was the attraction.
Hot bucket. Like it's a trending topic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was that was the attraction to the whole category of why I even entered the business. It was because it was something I had a great interest in. And when you start really looking at supplements in general, the bioavailability on most products could be 5 to 20%.
If that.
I'm being generous.
And a lot of people, I think in the liposomal industry, you find that there are a lot of brands and stuff that say like, our liposomal delivery is on the same level as doing IV delivery, which I think that's a bit of a stretch, but I mean,
I think they're
it's also
different.
not far off.
I had a
It's
doctor
not.
ask
I
me
mean,
that.
I call this like the daily drip, right?
Yeah.
So I think that we're kind of in that realm, but I feel like intravenously, right? It's always going to be the best if you can afford it and it's accessible. But we're a close second, I would say.
But that's the other thing is like the bioavailability constraints, because a lot of people they'll get like an NAD, an NAD IV or something like that, where NAD is going to get spent either really fast if you take it orally, or
It's only going to be good for about 12 hours at best.
or it'll get broken down in the stomach. But I'm just talking about like the oral versus IV kind of comparison. And the reason why people do NAD IVs is because there's so many things like in the gut that'll break it down and destroy it before it ever gets to the bloodstream, and it costs a lot.
I had a doctor ask that question about like, what would your recommendation? I think he kind of had an answer already in mind, and so he was testing me on how I answered it. But I always told people if you have the resources to do both, that's the best of both worlds.
Yeah,
you get the real high elevation with the IV, and then you can keep them elevated with the liposome, right? But for a lot of people, an IV could be uncomfortable. It could be out of their means from a resource standpoint, and you're not going to be able to do them daily, more than likely. The liposome is a great way to kind of augment that treatment, or for an average person, it's a great way. It
makes it accessible financially. Like it's there on the shelf.
100%.
That's the way I look at it. Yeah.
And glutathione is another thing that's like super popular for doing IVs of too. And it's one of those things where like we also had the people from Kiowa on talking about their glutathione and how they did a little bit of a the Cetria, and talking about how they did a study where it was comparable to doing IV. But I mean, if you were to put that same thing in a liposome, the bioavailability is even higher. So that's just one of those things where like all these different IV therapies where like bioavailability would never work orally, that we've got something that's a lot better when we're trying to do this in this liposomal format. And then suddenly there's this whole group of compounds that would never have any kind of bioavailability, that suddenly with the liposome the gloves are off, and all of a sudden we have something that was essentially useless, and now it is effectively useful.
Yeah, even something like most people aren't aware of it, but like curcumin, I think on its own,
that's why the dosages on those are so high.
It's like what, 3% tops, and then they'll use something like black pepper to
whatever they can.
Whatever they can. I don't know. You probably have a better handle on what that increases, but it's nowhere near what we can do.
No, not at all.
Nowhere near.
And the other thing is you're still providing a really high dose. Like you're not coming down off of that curcumin dose. Even though you're putting it in a liposome, you're still delivering a whole heck of a lot of it, which there's not a lot of danger in having like high amounts of curcumin or anything like that.
Good for your brain, good for your gut, good for inflammation, good for
the whole body.
Yeah, the whole body. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we went to dinner last night, and I found out, Phil, you're like a lot older than that.
Yeah, the big joke is I'm 80. Yeah,
He's Benjamin Button, huh?
Yeah. So whatever you're doing, it's working,
Well, I mean, thank you. That's very kind of you guys. But, it's just a matter of, I think, a little bit of decent genes and some hard work.
Yeah. You want to talk about the brand, or?
Let's talk a little bit about, so like, Ed, you still have access to those images. I also sent you a link.
So you guys have Aurora, and you're selling on, you guys are doing the distribution.
Yeah, we've got I call it our legacy line, or original line, which started off mostly with 16-ounce bottles. And that was good for a while, but there were some issues with that. So we've kind of migrated more to everything packet based, which is better. Their individual serving stability is easier to maintain rather than putting it in one big 16-ounce bottle.
Yeah.
So we've migrated to packets, and that would be the liquid line. And then we've developed a wellness line, capsules, but it's all liposomal, but it's...
that was one of the coolest things I thought whenever I first started working with you guys, the liquid stick pack.
Yeah.
I'd never seen a liquid stick pack before in my life. And I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah, when I came on, it was like, that was one of the first things I was like, everything needs to be in this on-the-go packet. Because we were doing a lot of bottle stuff, and it was like, wait, why are we not putting everything in this like on-the-go solution, right? All of us are traveling, we're on the go, right? Like
much
that
easier
bottle,
to travel with.
Yeah, you can't like take that. You're not gonna. You want to travel with it, but what are you gonna check a bag?
Go to
like
Europe
no,
with 4 16-ounce bottles, and refrigeration's kind of it's not typical to get a refrigerator in your room.
Well, then you got
you
got a dosing cap on the top that is like reminiscent of like NyQuil or Pepto Bismol, and it's got like that medicine-y kind of.
It's got a little bit of a Procter and Gamble type of thing going on. I agree with you.
But there's 2 more links I sent to your text.
Yeah, but we were one of the first. I mean, if not the first NAD plus.
We did that
liposomal on the go.
And then we developed the wellness line, which is all proper liposomal products. We basically take the raw ingredient or molecule, like vitamin C, for example. They'll put it in a liposomal format, less the excipients. And then through a process, like a pharma process, like spray drying, they'll take the water out of it, and we put it into a capsule, and you ingest it, and it rehydrates.
You did all this?
University studies.
So go to
You haven't even seen this yet.
Go to the main.
Oh, you haven't seen them?
I haven't seen this.
So we're going to the website. I wanted to show some of the old products first, and then the new products.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. There
So
you
like,
go.
yeah, this is what we're talking about.
Well, you can kind of see the old bottles there, and we got a lot of compliments on
I guess to your
10
credit,
years
yeah,
ago.
you always say that the people liked it when it first launched.
Well, 12 years ago, like that D3 look right there, we got tons of compliment on it. I had guys come in that sell those type of labels and said whoever came up with this concept was really clever. But 12 years later, it doesn't look so current.
Well, that was when you had like the full, 30 plus dosages in there with the dosing cap and everything. And as you like go to the right, you see the mega liposomal glutathione liquid packs. And then you've got the creatine liposomal drink mix, which, that was like the beginning of the evolution, I would probably say, with that creatine mix.
Well, we did that, and the issue with that was you've got a wellness line, and then we threw this interesting creatine product that was liposomal, had the GAA, had the arlipoic acid. It was pretty groundbreaking, but it doesn't really
Fit in that category.
doesn't fit in that category. And then that's where we're going to do this. We need to
spin off into sports.
Yeah, which is kind of where we're at now. But if you look at the capsule line, if he puts that up,
Ed, capsules. The rebrand.
Man, those
Yeah.
look hot.
well, you did the labels. They look fantastic.
Yeah, they look so good.
They're pretty sophisticated. I'll get into them in a little bit, but there's actually some tech in there that no one uses.
Do you still have that book that shows those things?
Probably somewhere here, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we developed this line, and then
I was surprised you guys went for it. And then I was even double as surprised that the printer was able to pull it off.
Yeah. It's a lot of layers, no? I mean, there is a lot to it.
Yeah, there's some technical stuff to it that no one's done, and it's complicated.
the initial reception has been fantastic. People love the look of it.
That looks good. This is the first
I
time
didn't know
seeing
you
the
had spinning
website.
renders.
Yeah, and it's not even all the way there yet. When we launched officially in February, it'll be dialed in more, but yeah.
It looks good.
Yeah,
This is what I'm saying.
They need to slow down that bottle. Oh my God, it's going too fast.
Well, this is what I'm saying
You
is
see your work and
when-
you're
when-
just cringing.
No, when
Yeah,
we make
exactly.
brand identity systems, we make them so that they can take this thing and then go and create a brand off of it. It's not going to have all the bells and whistles and all the assets that you need to make a really awesome website. Usually, people have to come back to us, and then we have to kind of hold their hand through that process. And it could be a lot. And you're just like, look, the whole point of a brand deck is to take that vision and then expand on it with your marketing team.
Yeah.
And the fact that you could take a pretty simple brand deck and make something that polished is pretty
Yeah,
cool.
Nick and his team did a really nice
Because you
job.
saw what we saw.
Yeah.
This is what we were envisioning.
Thanks, TK.
And without having to have much of
I'm
a
glad you have a
conversation.
water liposome section on your website.
Look how good it looks.
It does, and it's incredible, and it feels good too. I mean, there's so much texture to it. It's raised. Yeah, it's really high quality.
If you guys at home
You
are
guys did a good
interested,
job.
vitalifescience.com, and you can check out like their fully rebranded stuff. TK, talk about the layers on this thing, because if you don't, I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Well, the entire concept is based around a semi-transparent HDPE bottle. So you have to have some sort of clear bottle for this thing to work. You can't do it with a black or 100% opaque color. So, we chose the natural plastic. Obviously, we've done natural plastic with a few other things.
Love that natural plastic.
Like it's something that it's kind of our shtick. but no one else has done it. No one else uses it. And so I wanted to create this idea with a frosted soft touch clear label, but also use cast and cure material hollow foil, like a prismatic geometric one. So usually you do one or the other. You don't do both. And
Why is that?
Because you well, not just that you use the material substrate. Usually is kind of like, and this, so like this is a bad example, but like if you want to use a bottle where you see through it and you can see the capsules, you use a clear label, right? And so if you're using a clear label, usually that means you're not going to use any other type of other overlayment material because it's expensive. And it creates another layer. It's basically like you're having to buy two labels in a way.
Yeah.
But if you use this digital cast and cure, it's actually pretty economical. But no one uses it because not a lot of people know about it, honestly.
Now
It's
they
an
do.
extra trick.
Yeah. So it's a trick in a toolbox that no one, I've always wanted to do, but no one really wanted to take the leap on it. But this actually sort of gradiates from clear to white as it goes down, and then the intensity of the backgrounding of that prismatic material gets a little bit more, it gets more apparent kind of as it gradiates down. So you can still sort of see the capsules through it. That's kind of the idea, is you can sort of see them. But yeah, I don't know. It's just, and then it has the tactile on top of it.
Yeah, the raised.
And it's soft touch. So it's got like 5 layers of printing technology on it, in which most people only use 2 or 3 at tops. And to them, that's like high-tech, expensive, complicated. This uses 5.
Yeah, when we showed the clinical line, which is very similar to this,
It stopped people dead in their tracks.
I mean, people were just kind of like, "Wow, what is this?"
at A4,
yeah.
and people like stopped and said, "I got to look at this packaging," and then it started the conversation.
It's you don't know though, right? I mean, it's
You
like
guys
you
look
think
like
it's
the
cool.
brand
I
new
think
kid on
it's
the
cool.
block, and you've actually been there the whole
But like
time.
you're a little nervous. You put it out there, and you're like, "Are they going to like it? Are they not? Like, what's the response going to be?" We're around some big players, and we're we're not little, but we're not as big as some others, right? And people were really like impressed and excited, and we started getting orders right away. So it was cool. It was a great
good.
moment for us.
They come in for the look and then they stay for the formulas.
Well, that's it, right? Because
Yeah.
it looks good. But I mean, and we talk about this all the time now. It's like nowadays you can't just look good. It has to work. It has to taste good, right? You have to have all of the things.
Everything's got to be on. That's
it
why I said
has
if you
to
want to
be
be the
on point.
best, you got to work with the best.
Exactly. And we did, and we did.
Yeah, it was well executed. And it was a tedious process, right? Like, we worked on this for quite a while.
No, we got our money's worth out of it.
Yeah.
Sure.
But yeah, I'm really excited to finally actually get these here and display them. It's going to be
Yeah,
really
we'll be
cool.
getting. I think next week we'll be getting our first shipment of this one. And the other thing that's really noteworthy on this product that was just really difficult to get done was that little Project Non-GMO Verified.
You have 2 different little things. You have non-GMO Project Verified, which, to do that with the lecithin that you guys use for your liposomes, that's tough.
I'll give the guys over in Canada a lot
Yes.
of credit for that, for pushing that through, because that was not
Because a lot of soy and a lot of sunflower is GMO. So to find some non-GMO Project Verified materials in just making the liposome material is tough.
Yeah, if anybody that knows David Johnson, that was probably pretty tough for him to have to deal with it, because the Project Non-GMO guys aren't. I don't want to say it's not science driven, but it's very like step driven. They want to know like step by step, like on that ingredient, how it came about.
Yeah, traceability from the farm to the pill.
And it's very difficult. I could see for some larger companies that have massive supply chains and are using co-packers, good luck. But because, they probably have one supplier for that product, and we don't use any co-packers, it was probably a little easier to manage that, but it still took a good year. And then we have the NSF content certified.
That's the other badge.
Yep.
Yeah, which means what's on the label is in the capsule, and that's a big deal, because if you look at one of the
capsules?
That was a bear.
one of the biggest issues that we face, I always tell people, is like buyer beware on Amazon, because all these products, when it looks a little too good to be true, it probably is. It means because it's not really what it says.
And I've been a schmuck on Amazon, and I've fallen for a lot of things that say that they're liposomal XYZ, and they probably weren't. Or even if they were a crude liposome, and that's another thing to get into with this whole liposomal thing. There's many different kinds of liposomes.
A micelle? Is it a nanoemulsion?
Yeah. So like two of the things that define good liposomes are particle size. How many nanometers across is that liposome? Because usually that's going to dictate. If it's too big, will it still get absorbed well? Probably. Will it get broken down like at that interface of the small intestine? That's a possibility. But the smaller it is, the better it's going to be. And you guys are working in a range of 50 to 200 nanometers from
mostly
the cryo-TEM images from the University of Toronto that I've seen. And if the brand doesn't have that kind of imaging, you don't really know what you're buying. And that was one of the things where I was like, we need to have cryo-TEM images like the whole time, like through this process, because we needed to have something to show exactly how big our liposomes were. Pictures of those liposomes, and that's a really good indicator of that bioavailability enhancement.
From a branding perspective, it was important that we created that into a part of the intellectual property for Aurora, right? Having that logo for advanced delivery technology and letting that be something that becomes like a branding piece because it's such a big part of y'all's brand, liposomal, right? So you needed some sort of...
It is, especially when you look at like everybody, you go to the store, you look at something, and you say like, this one is $20 and this one's $40. The first thing for me as a consumer, I'm going to ask why. Hopefully that person on the floor is knowledgeable enough to tackle that question. But if you buy something for $20 and it's got 500 milligrams of ascorbic acid or sodium ascorbate, and you only absorb 5% of it, and the rest of it basically gets flushed out, did you really get your money's worth?
Yeah, what are you paying for?
Yeah.
You just made expensive urine.
Yeah.
So in some ways, we try to look at it as like, if you look at it one way, we're a better value because you actually get what your body's getting what you paid for.
Yeah, but you need to you need to be able to have some visual representation of that authority.
Yeah.
That says like, this is who we are, this is what we do, and it's our intellectual property, and we control it, and you control the whole messaging system around it. So, like Aurora at its own, obviously from their manufacturing capabilities is like tremendous, right? But like, how do you make their manufacturing side into a brand? Like how do you what tools and devices do you have? And the liposomal is huge. It's like that's a huge storyline for them. So it's like, well, that needs its own. It needs its own look.
Yeah, we've got some good corporate factory footage that we want to put to better use too, so people kind of see what they really do there, and like see.
From what David says, it's almost more like a pharmaceutical. Like that's what
I've seen the footage.
Yeah,
according to the auditors, we were told that I think Bayer and a biotech company are the only companies they've seen that have the level of equipment.
Which is bananas for a nutritional supplement company.
Right.
Yeah,
that's David Johnson, though, right?
That's just the kind of guy he is.
Totally.
And he buys the right equipment. Like if he goes into something, he does it the right way.
Yeah. He loves the challenge, and that's with like the non-GMO stuff. While it was like, I think there were a lot of sleepless nights and angry phone calls. Took
a lot of years of pushing them, and then we finally actually went to his wife, and then she said, "I'll get it done." Michelle said, "Don't worry, honey, it's done."
Yeah,
and we got it done because we really needed that. But
I didn't even know you guys were even going for non-GMO project. That was just like a bonus thing to me whenever I found out about it.
Well, I think it was like from the store footprint, right? Like working with some of these folks, you can't really even get in unless you have that butterfly.
You talk to Sprouts, you talk to these different people, and they all want these certifications. So it takes out less barriers. Consumers want them; they look at them. So we're going to give them what they want.
Well, and the other thing is like Sprouts isn't asking for you guys to be NSF content certified, but that's like if I'm shopping liposomes on Amazon and I see NSF content certified on there, then that's definitely like a green light kind of moment for me because
creme de la creme.
Well, yeah, because you're third party tested by NSF, which is like one of the main established third-party testing bodies that there is, especially for Amazon.
I think Amazon's going to that requirement, by the way.
I mean,
And they should, because there's just too many, unfortunately, with the amount of co-packers out there and the amount of white label shows and different things that are out there, there's too many guys that can go in. If
We see it all the time.
a guy can go out and buy 500 or 1,000 units on something, and Now Foods, which was probably the largest nutraceutical company on the planet, probably, right?
Yeah.
Can't do it for that price. What makes you think some Yahoo and, working out of some office and
pull up Amazon and just type in liposomal.
can do it for
I'm
less money than
curious.
them. When you look at the tonnage of ingredient, so I mean, it's like there's a lot of stuff on Amazon. It just doesn't make sense.
If you know, you know.
So I actually applaud Now for the work they've done on buying these brands, testing them, and kind of calling out.
But they've
It's
never
been-
done it liposomal either.
And you just said it right there, though. Like, if you know, you know. And that's, I think, where we're
If
at
they
with
haven't
the
done it,
consumer
yeah.
part of it is
Yeah,
like
the
the
education
education piece is really tough because if you know, you know. In this circle, we know. The masses don't. And so how do we tell that story where people understand, no, what we say is in the capsule or bottle is, right? And there
Well,
are
I
a lot of
think-
good brands that do, and there's a lot that don't.
It starts with coming off as premium.
Is that your favorite one right there that we were looking at, the vitamin C there?
I got some issues with that one.
Click on that one.
I mean, you look at it, Joey. And
Let's see the back. So this is Nutriflare, liposomal vitamin C. Fat soluble, ascorbyl palmitate, ascorbyl oleate, cetyl ascorbates, sunflower lecithin, and phosphatidylcholine.
I don't know how you encapsulate a fat with a fat,
So you're right about that.
right?
The thing about this one is because these are vitamin C bonded to oleic acid and palmitic acid, and the cetyl ascorbate is another fat soluble one. These things get locked in the bilayer. So a lot of people don't understand that you can't just put a fat soluble nutrient into a liposome, because the whole point of it is that there's supposed to be a core that's to this bubble. There's an inside part of the bubble.
It's like a crust and envelope.
Yeah,
That's where you have that hydrophilic, hydrophobic.
and those things get locked into like what you would consider like the crust layer, the actual phospholipid bilayer. So, is it helping? Probably some, but not as much if it was just raw vitamin C that was trapped in the core.
So for them to claim that's vitamin C, I would love to see the images that say that it really is. Without
The other
going
thing
much further.
I've got a little bit of beef with is we have 2 capsules per serving at 1,700 milligrams.
Yeah.
You can't say that it's 1,700 milligrams and 1,889% DV, because that's not the vitamin C. That's the entirety of the thing. The other thing that's a little weird about this is I know that most 00 capsules have a max fill rate of about 750 milligrams. So anytime I see 2 capsules and it's showing over 1,400 milligrams or over 1,500 milligrams, I get a red flag immediately.
Well,
You're
remember
100% correct. I've gone a lot through with David on that and
When
how
we were,
much
when
they
we
can
were making
physically
the
fit in
panels
them.
on that, it was so arduous because you guys had to do it a different way than kind of everybody else does. And I think it was because of that.
Well, and
because your yields are different.
The yields are different, and the accounting for the phospholipids. So, like, this is a proprietary blend where they've got their 3 forms of fat soluble vitamin C, sunflower lecithin, and phosphatidylcholine. And I'm willing to bet that phosphatidylcholine comes from the sunflower lecithin, but they listed it separately. There's a whole
I'm
bunch.
100% confident that that's where it came from.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of other shit here that is in that total up to 1,700 milligrams. So I'm really, where are these guys from? They're from Seattle. These guys should know better. Or is this imported from China and then it's bottled in Seattle?
They've
Well,
also
that's it, right? Made in USA with the asterisk that's like,
They might
ingredient
even-
sourced around the world.
I won't mention the brand, but they might even use a branded ingredient, claim they use, and they're not actually using it.
But there's no way that vitamin C yield is correct. So like, these guys tried, but I don't think that they have anyone working compliance, because there's no way there's that much vitamin C in those capsules.
There's definitely like levels to the liposomal game and like how you make those panels.
Yeah.
Like that's what I learned through this process. Is it's a lot more arduous than just a regular ass, like, somebody putting this together probably.
Go back over to the Aurora stuff, because that's kind of worth talking about, because we can kind of like show
We
how
probably
it was
spent
done
more
differently.
time on those
Yeah.
panels than
Go
we
to that
spent
one,
on the principal design.
And then go to the supplement facts.
They even made their own
Boom.
supplement facts builder.
So
Aurora did, yeah.
They needed to.
Yeah.
There's a whole
there's a
thing
lot.
here.
Yeah.
And it's non-GMO sunflower lecithin, but it says phosphatidylcholine, ethanolamine, inositol, phosphatidic acid, and phosphatidylserine from sunflower lecithin. There's gum acacia in there as a binder. But we did that entire blend separate and at the bottom of the panel so we could show off the transparently, might I add, the active ingredients on the top part, and then we show the liposomal technology in the bottom part. The other thing is you usually need to have a decently, equal, in some cases, like a higher ratio of these inactive ingredients to these active ingredients. Because at most I've seen is 70% of the entire formula is active, where 30% of it is inactive. And if we go back to Amazon, there's another product that I've seen on there where they've got like only 50 milligrams of their sunflower phospholipids, which means how is that possible when I've got like a 900 milligram dose where you've got a 900 to 50 ratio? That's not going to work out. That's not going to be a true liposome. There's not enough material there to encase your active ingredients. So that's another thing.
Boom.
I want to say too, that is the colorless curcumin that we put in there too.
Yeah,
right?
the one that's not crazy yellow.
So it's not
Is
crazy
that why
yellow.
you asked me for the Sophia Pro?
Yeah. Exactly.
Are you talking about a
that-
font?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that Boswellia curcumin combination
that is
is fantastic, by the way.
premium synergy.
Premium. It's validated by Baylor University. They did all the studies on that.
And having tetrahydrocurcumin with a 78% AKBA, you're not going to find that anywhere else.
Yeah.
So this launches in February. Where are we landing as far as stores and distribution goes?
We've got it out submitted to all most of the big guys right now. What limited samples we had, we covered the big ones. So it's out there in submissions. And
when do you think this will be like a nationwide rollout? Is this going to be before the end of this year?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So if they pick it up, then we're going to see this stuff like what, end of summer, midsummer?
Yeah, I mean, you get like some of these guys just don't move very fast. Some of our bigger channels, like iHerb and guys like that, move extraordinarily quick for their size. They're very nimble. If you have a good
And we have a good relationship with them.
you can get onboarded
totally.
with them. We can usually do it in less than a month with those guys. You get some of the there's a couple chains that we deal with, like I think Moms.
Yeah.
And there's another one up in Northern California that it probably won't be till March, even though they've agreed to take it on.
Oh, but these will be available in March?
Oh, these? Yeah. These are going to be shipping probably next week.
Yeah. Next week.
Yeah,
We can buy them online.
Yeah, you can buy them on our website,
Yeah.
betalifescience.com. We'll be on Amazon as well. So
We're going to be
that'll
pretty
pushed
aggressive
out.
too with
And that's 15.
promotions and sampling and
You're
stuff
gonna do
like
any
that.
advertising or anything like that?
Of course, yeah, totally. Yeah, it'll all be. You'll be seeing it if you're listening to this, and they're listening. You'll be getting our ads for it as well, so you'll be able to find it. That's for sure.
Remember, it's Nick. That's Nick's box, so he's got all his ducks lined up.
Yeah, we've been waiting, but yeah, all the digital stuff will be out there. We're excited. And I mean, it's a great product, and I think the education piece is really important. So I'm glad we're talking about it because it is different. There's a reason. Everything was intentional, from the branding to the ingredients to where we're putting it and placing it. It's all intentional. So,
Well, and doing this was something we probably need to do more of.
Oh, just get out here and talk
Yeah,
about
and
this
it's
stuff.
like I said,
Yeah.
it's been kind of a reluctant, at least from where I sit. But at the same time, after just listening to some of the nonsense that floods social media, I figured, okay, it's about time to.
we've started putting you out more on ads. So I
start
think
going-
the last
go
year
out and at
I've
least
really
start
tried to get you.
having some straight talk with people about what is and what isn't, because some of the stuff out there is just nonsense.
And I don't even know if the people at home know, there's a couple people right now that are kind of dominating the liposome space. There's Symbiotica, which they're out of San Diego. There's
Yeah.
Quicksilver, which is kind of
It's been more in the medical
Yeah.
space.
They do peptides and stuff too.
Row.
right?
Chris Shade has
and
been
Row
out
is
for a
blown
while.
up.
Yeah.
Row is the other one.
Yeah.
Which is they're doing the bottle approach. But like just with the liquid
Because he's a
stick packs,
co-packer, he doesn't have any real control over that.
correct.
Yeah.
So
That's fun. We love it. Let's punch.
I think it's going to be interesting when you guys have like multiple different types of dosage forms where you've got capsules, you've got liquids, you've got all these different things. You've got convenient forms that like guys like Ro
there's
don't
another
have.
thing we haven't even touched on. So
We're
when you look
gonna
at
get
it,
there.
we've got liquids.
Yeah.
We've got dry powders. We've got effervescent tablets, and we've got capsules. So whatever your preference is on how you choose to take that supplement, we give you many different ways. If you want glutathione in a drink mix and you want to put it in a 16-ounce water bottle, we have it.
Yeah.
If you want to take glutathione in a capsule that's liposomal, we have it. If you want to take it in a liquid stick pack, we have it.
Are you all going to redo the look on the liquids?
That's coming. I think now it's just a matter of, quite frankly, just working through some of the
Clearing through old
packaging.
inventory.
Yeah, that's all
packaging
it
because
is right now,
David
but-
buys big on everything. So
I haven't let up. I
have
mean,
to-
they know.
As soon as those
happening.
new designs are done, he's going to throw it all away. I guarantee it.
I'm hoping.
He'll be
Let's
like,
work
"Oh,
on it.
I
then.
want the
Let's
new
get it done."
stuff.
We started to concept it, right? I mean, it's pretty much there
Well, I mean, it.
for the stick. It's a version of the new bottle.
Yeah.
Which is
the brand
great.
identity is already.
Yeah, it's we've already created
You
it.
just
so.
you just reincorporate it.
it
into
needs a
different
refresh. I think I'd like to see on the packets. I'd like to see it, but
Well, I mean, those packets already are like semi-transparent as they are.
yeah.
So to do that same kind of
You
print
guys use
technology-
really good stick packs, like high quality stick packs.
Dude, no kidding. I've had some real shit stick packs lately, and every time I rip open one of theirs, I'm like, oh, this is so much
They're
better.
very nice.
We have to because of the content.
Yeah.
You know, they're liposomes in general, particularly in that liquid state, are more sensitive.
But they have a nozzle. Every single one has a nozzle. They tear really well. There's never like some weird fucked up kind of tear going on.
They're,
or
they're like
after
a
the pull
beefed
really
up
hard.
construction too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
like,
and David just got some new machines too, right? They were showing us last week.
Yeah, we've got new machines that will do. I think it'll do 32. Each machine will do 32 full finished boxes a minute.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
That's a
Yeah.
lot.
and
Yeah,
I mean
and,
they are
the-
they sustain.
Equipment was in customs.
That's 1,000.
So by the end of
so
the-
we did do the
Half
boxes.
an
So
hour.
the boxes
Yeah.
are designed. Have you seen those?
I have not seen them.
Oh, they look good.
Yeah, so I think
I haven't
we're
seen
excited
this.
about that
I'll
because
show them to you.
That's huge capacity. I didn't know that you guys were going. That's 2,000 an hour.
Yeah, but I mean, he had a guy, step on the packet too. 150-pound guy, stomp on it.
there was a
No
150-pound guy, overseas where the packet machine came
Yeah.
from, jumping up and down on the packet, and it didn't break.
So we're making sure,
That's
indestructible.
pretty. I mean, 150 is one thing. You can get a bigger fella.
We do. Well, he had to work with the area we were in.
Well, I mean, something we haven't talked about, we can get into, is this is just one of 3 lines that we pretty much made simultaneously.
Yeah.
That
it's
was
pretty
fun.
ambitious.
Very ambitious.
On our, it's a lot. I mean, on
Yeah.
their part, and it's a lot of work on
Because
our
I believe
part.
I believe there's 14 or 15 SKUs or individual ones, and then those are broken out into multiples of formats for each line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're talking at like 80 something individual SKUs.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. That we did in what has it been 9
And there's so
months?
many things that we want to do. Like, there's things that we have on the, from skincare to pet products and stuff like that. But I'm kind of like, let us
Launch
get,
one.
let us get this. But,
Yeah, exactly.
he's got that mentality of like just drive it. But that's that's kind of how things happen, right?
Yeah. So aside from the clinical line, you also have the wellness line.
We do.
Yeah.
That, if you go to the website, if you go to the footer.
Actually, that is the wellness.
That is the
line.
Oh, this is the wellness line.
Yeah.
The clinical line, if you go down to the bottom
I thought
of the website.
I thought that clinical line was some of our
all the way
best.
down.
Now, what's the difference from a formula standpoint?
And formulas are all enhanced.
You'll see clinical
when
capsule line at the bottom and shop.
when you look at the
Oh, here's
formulas.
the white cap.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you see the gradation that I'm talking about?
that bottle looks absolutely
We open it up.
stunning.
Any of
too.
them.
That's
That's fine.
It's so different because you were able to put like those hexagons and shapes on it.
Yeah.
Is that also cast and cure, or is that different?
I think those just have like an opacity of a color.
Yeah.
I don't know if we did the casting cure on that one.
But it still has that gradient bottle where you can see the capsules at the bottom.
Yeah, it's dope. It's so good. It's super minimal, fresh,
Soft touch.
soft touch, longevity. I mean, this will be around for a while.
We tried to get a downstream metabolite / precursor of vitamin C in this called dehydroascorbate, but no one can manufacture it.
I couldn't. I had one
They could get
contact that was attempted to make it. He made one at about 50%.
Yeah.
He wasn't happy with it, but it's not commercially available. But we'll revisit it later.
We'll cook on it.
But if you look at these formulas, I think it was some of the. I know for me it was.
Go to the NMN one.
Oh yeah.
That's the banger.
Yeah,
That's what
that
I'm taking.
CoQ10 one's not too shabby either, by the way.
NAD plus.
Oh, there's
it's the third
NMN
one.
and NAD plus. I mean, the NMN's just NMN.
I feel like when we get these in, I'm gonna
It's
gonna
like
take
it's such a
them.
big buzzword
Yeah,
right
but
now.
the NAD is
Yeah.
great because we've got NAD, we've got a precursor to NAD.
I'm gonna have to buy 2 of all of them. One to stage and
Put up the
One to
active
take,
yeah.
exactly. yeah.
Click the active ingredient. That panel right there.
I hope it's updated. It should be. Yeah.
God, that looks
Yeah.
good.
Thank
That's a
God.
good mock-up.
So we used the NMNH. So this
Yeah, I
was
used a guy in Europe to do them. Yeah,
Did a
did a
good
good job,
job.
right? Yeah.
this was so we
good
could
one.
have this one where we weren't sure what the fate of NMN was going to be. We made an NMN anyway, but then we made this NAD NMNH combo so it could easily be put on Amazon. And then we've got trigonelline, which helps NAD synthesis. We got resveratrol with the sirtuin activation. Like this is well rounded.
Yeah, that is like there's not anybody else doing this. Like but somebody out there selling with a really big influencer. I think it's 100 milligram just straight NAD for more than this. And this
Is there a price on this one yet?
This is much more powerful.
Yes, there's a price.
Scroll up.
I don't have them on there.
Okay.
Because they're not
I want to
for-
say
Oh yeah, these are clinical only.
they're clinical right
these are
now,
clinical,
yeah.
but they're
Okay.
probably around. I'm going to guess
That's probably $60.
60, 70 bucks.
60,
Yeah.
it's almost 70, yeah.
So what's the distribution model of the difference between clinical and wellness? How are y'all?
Clinical,
That's something we haven't even talked about on the show before. Is like the entire clinician circuit.
Yeah.
primarily clinics, doctors, wellness centers, and that there are a few channel partners that are responsible with clinical brands. iHerb particularly has been one. Erewhon potentially. But in general, we'll keep that brand pretty exclusive to those channels.
Okay.
It just they're more powerful products. They're more comprehensive. It also just
It gives an air of exclusivity and a good, better, best sort of system.
Yeah.
because
They won't be discounted. It's going to be, full price all the time. Yeah.
It's
The white cap stuff versus the black cap stuff.
It looks fucking good, Nick.
the website.
Looks really good.
It's not, I'm like cringing a little bit because it's not fully baked out, but
Well, I know
yeah.
there's a lot of work to be done, but like,
Yeah, because I haven't been able to shoot them in real life.
Yeah.
Also,
Oh,
so you
for
know what I
product
mean?
photos.
Yeah, all that kind
Photography,
of
yeah.
stuff. So and that's always the fun stuff. But yeah, we used a lot of 3D rendering.
So
and-
happy with how we all took it and gave it what it needed.
Yeah,
Because it's a hard thing to try and
yeah. There's been a lot of sleepless nights for sure.
It looks good.
But I think that was some of our, from at least a product concept, was some of our best work.
Yeah.
You look at those formulas or the glutathione complex and
Well, and there's even more that we're cooking on, because these 3 product lines we haven't even talked about the third one yet. I want to save that for after the break, though.
Yeah.
But we'll get into that here in just a second. But 3 product lines that are just now reaching the finish line, and there's potentially a 4th one that we'll talk about that too. But I don't know. I think we can probably grab a break, go pee, and then we'll be right
Yeah.
back.
What's up, everyone? TK back here. I'm going to talk to you guys about the Suppworks podcast. For everyone that's been listening in since we started this thing in January, I just want you to know that we are so damn delighted to have you guys as listeners. The audience has grown, the engagement has grown, the viewerships have grown. It's been pretty wild to see. But with all this growth, it comes with quite a cost. And that's why the Suppworks podcast is looking for sponsors. Now, we have started off with some sponsors in the beginning, and they were great partners. But to be honest with you guys, I never really charged them because I didn't feel like our audience was large enough to basically pay for whatever cost I was having to expend in doing the podcast. And just so you guys know, these podcasts, they cost a lot of money. We got to fly someone in. We got to put them up in a hotel. We feed them. We usually take them out to some sort of event. It adds up. It costs quite a bit. And we subsidize these costs with sponsorships. So if you own a business, whether it's in manufacturing, you're a raw ingredient supplier, you own a brand, Maybe you have some sort of supplement or CPG type service that applies to the supplement industry or the CPG industry as a whole. And you think that our audience, which is usually movers and shakers within the CPG industry, you're talking CEOs, owners of businesses, top sales executives, and then the whole gambit in between super users all the way up into founders of companies basically listen to our podcast. If you think that audience is for you and it would work for your business for us to advertise on this platform, hit us up. Just send us a DM. Send us an email, tk@nutrimedia.co, or send Joey a DM, and we can talk about our sponsorship packages. And basically you get this. You get a 1-minute table read where we talk about your brand. And obviously this has got to be something that we approve of and we support. But if there is a good partnership there, reach out. Maybe we'd be interested in having you as a sponsor. So if you want to sponsor the Suppworks podcast, just go ahead and hit us up, and you can have your table read right in the middle of the podcast while we do our breaks, just like now. Yeah, I just I sent the website to one of our clients in Australia who's having a lot of 3D stuff. And I was like, check this out. Wow. He was like, damn. Their 3D guy was like, that's really good. I was like, yeah, I know, right?
And my guys are pretty picky about those things.
Yeah.
Particularly the guy I was talking about.
Yeah. We're picky about it over here, and we, it's arduous work to do it over here, but like, fuck,
he doesn't
man.
want pixelated. Just
there's
things,
with that people don't understand how complicated it is to get it to
he went
look.
back and did some iteration because there was some of the stuff on with what you sent me, the roll were off, so he then like re-implemented it. I don't know what he did, but did a good job because I'm super picky too, like aesthetically. How are we going on? This.
All right, and we're back. So we haven't talked yet about what we're all wearing here.
Our shirts and jackets and stuff.
Which is cool to see
There
it
we go.
living.
Well,
Yeah, it's cool to see it in person.
We made a little capsule collection for this trip out here. So
Oh, did you?
yeah, that's what we made it for.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was specific
This is
for
the first.
Nutrimedia. Yeah,
Oh, sick.
nobody's wearing this. Yeah, It's all
We've got a
brand new.
whole bunch of stuff coming.
I'm
too.
really personally proud of this logo. It's one of my favorites that we've done. I just think it's so strong. I remember we went through the name took a while.
Oh my gosh, right?
And
you want to tell them about the name?
Well, yeah. I mean, I could talk about it.
Go
Yeah,
for
you
it.
should. It was
I know,
ultimately your.
I don't know. Where did we start with Korea? I mean, first we went through the branding exercise with you, which was really cool. I mean, I think I had never
the
done anything like
storyboarding
that.
part we're working with you took a really complicated process because a lot of times you just come up with a name, but the process of working with you was great because it gave us a little bit better idea who we are, and it gave you the information that you needed to help.
yeah.
The
Help create
Nutrimedia
that.
brand therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we
Totally.
had 4 names that we concepted.
It came down between
And I have them still
that
saved.
one was Doxa, DOXA,
yeah.
and Creo. Both were good. At the end of the day, Creo was the one, and it was actually that one came from Nick and I were going back and forth, and it was Nick that came up with Creo.
Yeah. And it had a
Yeah.
good meaning behind it.
Create.
Yeah. Right.
Doxa was glory, and Creo was great. Was create.
Creator. Yeah. I mean, I think that was
they both
really
worked.
how
Yeah.
we wanted to kind of integrate into the brand is like these creators, this standard of excellence, right? Like folks that kind of forged their own way, and what that meant behind the brand itself was like, okay, we want to embody that. We want our athletes, the people that are taking our products, to really believe in that, and it sounds kind of cool too. I mean,
It sounds
and
cool.
It looks dope.
It lends itself to. It kind of transcends just to being on a label. It
Well,
looks
we had
good
a few different names that were longer characters. And I remember that was one thing that I was talking about kind of early was like, the shorter the name, the stronger it's going to be. And then
I learned a lot about that from you in those conversations.
just how like the typography shows up, and Doxa was good, but I remember thinking, well, the K is actually, it's a little bit more masculine
yeah.
to me. It just seemed a little bit more edgy. It seemed a little stronger
I
for
think
what
the
you were
path
trying to
to trademarking was a little easier with Creo too, because there was some stuff with the watch brand with Doxa. So there were some issues there, but it just lends itself to when you look at the logo. I mean, you put it on merchandise, you put it on a gym bag, put it on a pair of gym socks. It just looks, the logo just looks, it looks good on no matter what.
It was supposed to, I mean, it's a black and white brand, literally. Those was kind of the colors that we worked with. And so it had this extreme contrast, which is a minimalist, very bold statement to make. And that's a lot of the conversations we have was around, this is for elite athletes, not just your fair weather, gym goer. This is for elite athletes. We're marketing this towards professional athletes. And so we needed something that made a very bold statement and that made no qualms about what it is.
Yeah.
So using that black look, and then the second part about was like, all right, well, how do you make it seem premium texturally? It's that black on black with that gloss on matte, and that was a big thing about using that with the sort of rainbow holographic we have there, which goes more to that gold spectrum. It almost has like a gold hollow. The usage of those with the logo, and I kind of pulled that from like Apple. If you look at like the back, any like Apple component, like you.
Oh, you can see this.
Yeah.
How this
The matte gloss.
Well,
there.
it's material. You're talking. You're
Yeah.
talking about two different like textures of material. It's not really like the color of the art. It's not ink, right?
Yeah.
It's metal or glass or wood or whatever it is. And I kind of wanted to pull that same essence with the usage of the logo with using that what we call brand essence criteria, right? It's the criteria of the usage of that logo every time that it shows up in some sort of augmented print, you know? So it's like not just black or just white. It has gloss with the matte or gloss with the soft touch. Or if you ever to go do something metallic later, if you do signage later, you could do stainless steel or something like that. And the brand essence criteria around the 3 dashes, I think, is going to make it such a strong symbol as it becomes more of a symbol as it grows.
That's the plan long term.
Yeah,
Right,
I agree.
Well,
Just
you
those
created
three
a
things.
brand that can scale that way.
Yeah. That was one of
Yeah.
the things I learned in the conversations with you was like, do you want to put a label on something and sell it? That's one way. Or do you want to build a brand? And I was like, we want to build a brand.
Yeah.
So then it became
Yeah, let's
very clear.
Think a little deeper about how these things are going to.
Yeah,
If
totally.
you're going to go trademark it, and you're going to, it may be worth however much you're paying for it today. But let's see, what is it going to be worth in 10 years?
Yeah.
Did people imagine that the swoosh would be worth $13 billion when they first drew the? You got to think of it that way.
Yeah. Yeah, we wanted, I feel like when we talked about this, building the brand, to have like kind of our Batman symbol, right? And I feel like that's what we like kind of did with you did with the 3 stripes there. It's like really, I can imagine a world where we're kind of using that as, reflective light out, even in smoke. I mean, there's lots of ideas that come around it.
Right.
Even the K, as you said, is very strong. Like I can see us running through the K in smoke. There's just a lot of really cool, like visual stuff that we can do with the imagery that we're excited to kind of unveil as we kind of grow over the next,
Yeah, the
years
brand
to
is
come.
it's those three. It's 3 things. It's the strength of the logo, which is great. The typography of just being minimal, but like a very modern and strong type.
phonetically, typographically, everything that works.
Yeah,
well.
and then there's the textural component of those different material substrates. And you really you're playing with those 3 tools in a subtle way. And the less you do, the more impact it has.
Yeah.
And the more you put on there, it kind of takes away from the strength of those elements. And kind of hard because with liposomal, you got to put a lot of information on it. It goes back to the education part.
Yeah.
There's a lot you want to put on there to explain about what it does. So you kind of have to how do we take these very complicated things and try and compress them into symbols and phrases, short, and material visually. Like how does it show up visually?
Yeah.
That was the challenge with that one. But I actually think this one visually came together pretty quick.
It's pretty close to the
Once we had the
original rendering. Yeah,
It is.
Yeah.
It's just
Really, the only thing that changed is the copy.
Yeah.
copy and how big was the NSF Sport? Where was it located? Little stuff like that.
Right. It wasn't originally.
We went a
up to
little
the top
bolder with
left.
that because we
Yeah.
think it's something worth
stands
promoting.
out.
Most people, you pay a lot of money to go through that
It was
process.
also white and black, which is what I wanted to be with SF. They want it to be orange and
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and I think
Yes.
Yeah.
that's the way it's the logo's recognized. And after talking to some people, I talked to some people that had a lot more experience than I did, and they said put it in the color of. And same with the non-GMO one. On the other stuff, they were saying put it in that because even though it might look, you may think it looks a little bit better. That's how people are used to seeing it.
Recognized, yeah.
See, it's hard because we have very similar style.
Yeah, very much.
Like we talked about this when we were building it. It was like, we wanted it to be simple, kind of modern, but a little sexy, right? And I feel like we did that, but I was nervous seeing all these different colors together, right? We have like the holograph, we have the watermelon, the color, with NSF, the orange, but I think it all tied together. I think it, I think it looks really nice.
Yeah, I think that one, I think everybody at this table is pretty proud of. From formula, the box, the whatever. It's just.
Well, the formulas are sick.
They came together
All of them
beautifully.
are amazing. And we started this project like a little over a year ago, and it was David back in Canada who was like, I want this for professional athletes. He wanted to sell it to Major League Baseball.
He came up with the sport certified for the elite athlete. I was like, that is bold statement.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to put sport performance enhancing supplements. I wanted to,
A little bit broader of a stroke, but no, he was pretty adamant about that. Mm-hmm. But hey, you guys are going to be promoting.
Yeah, we're launching February 16th at an event sponsored by the Strength and Conditioning Association for Major League Baseball. We'll get to interact with the Major League Baseball teams that are.
So the reality is you really are marketing directly.
They were the first, and then we
athlete.
also took some a lot of conversations with Dave Ellis, who's works with Major League Baseball as a liaison on nutrition.
We met Dave.
Yeah,
right?
you know Dave.
Yeah.
Dave actually, he was
Expo West. Yeah,
Joey was the one that introduced me to Dave.
Oh.
And
we sat down with him in some weird Chinese booth or something like that.
Yeah.
That was totally random.
That was at New Herbs. That was last year's Expo West.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, and Dave had a lot of. It wasn't necessarily a product concept, but we talked with him more about what are the challenges? What would you like to see? And there were a lot of things that weren't being addressed. There wasn't a lot of, like you said, with NSF sport earlier in our conversation. There's not a lot of innovation.
Most NSF certified for sport products are fucking
Plain vanilla.
boring.
They're plain
just
vanilla.
like, oh, this again. Like, it's protein, it's creatine. Like, there's nothing special. Like, if I saw that badge on most products, I'd be like, I'm not even going to pick it up. I'm not even interested because most NSF certified for sport products are like
Real
some
vanilla.
G-rated shit, you know.
It's just regular creatine monohydrate. It's
like
magnesium and potassium and salt and electrolyte with flavor. It's just really generic.
And with us being able to do liposomes, it was like, okay, maybe we can do something really cool here. And that was my pitch, because we also talked to David Trozen, who heads up all of NSF, and we're like, we're gonna do something that you guys might be a little uncomfortable with, but we're gonna do this together. We're gonna hold hands.
It's quite a process.
And to their credit and David's credit, he's been, push us.
Yeah.
We need to be pushed. We need to quit being so conservative.
Well, and this product here alone, because so this is the creatine product. It has GAA, guanidino acetic acid, and RALA, which is it's the proper isomer of ALA if you want to get good results out of it.
Not the S form.
And it was an ordeal getting NSF to be cool with GAA. And like we were having a conference call with NSF's toxicology team, me and Phil and David Johnson, and then I brought in Sergey Ostoyik, who's like the world's
Foremost expert.
Yeah, he's the foremost expert in guanidino acetic acid. He's literally run all the human clinical studies, a lot of the animal studies on GAA. He is the expert on this molecule and knows everything about it. And we were just roundtabling it. And we're just like, hey, we need to come to a decision on this and what we're going to do moving forward, because we're not going to sacrifice GAA. So you guys need to be happy with it. We have the world's foremost expert here who can put all your concerns to rest. And you know, I could just see Sergey like slowly dying. He's just like, his face was basically saying like, I can't believe this shit. Like, I can't believe like I've done all this research, and you know, I've got these 2 kids who are probably like, you know, 4 years out of college that are on this toxicology team at NSF being like, well, we don't know. And he's like, you haven't read all my research then. And
Oh my god.
Yeah, in a very polite way, he kind of said, "Did you look at this? Did you look at that?"
yeah. And he's like, the safety's there. Like, there should be no concern for this. And we finally found like a good middle ground where, you know, GAA, which has never been seen in an NSF certified for sport product, is now in this one, and it's liposomal. And that's the other thing. Like, everything that we have, I would say, with probably the exception of creatine, is you know, some gnarly shit. And in most of the products, with the exception of this one, have some sort of peptide in them.
Yeah.
That was another challenge that we wanted to throw on ourselves. It's like, okay, not only is everything going to be liposomal, but we're going to try to put at least some form of functional peptide in every single product that we make. And that was a fun little task as well. So, you know, innovation now, like coming into NSF, where like they've been able to work with us, like we've jumped the shark in 2 different ways, where we've brought like some really next level shit to professional athletes that has never been done.
Yeah, these formulas are pretty far ahead of what else is out there. I mean, even the stuff that's not NSF Sport certified.
Yeah.
We're way ahead of that. Not
No one
only
else
from a
is-
delivery standpoint, but formulation standpoint.
Yeah, even not certified, like nobody else is doing liposomal peptides. And to combine these 2 things, like it's going to make it much less likely that peptide's going to get degraded in the stomach, and it's going to make it a lot more likely that a lot of those peptides are going to reach the bloodstream.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, and that creatine product too, I mean, it picks up, I think, 3 different absorption pathways because of the GAA.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of 1, you get 3, and you ultimately wind up, at least the studies that validate that, show about 8 times better absorption.
Well, and it's because of the GAA you can actually feel this. This is the creatine that you can feel.
It actually gets for
What
your
does it
brain.
feel like?
It gets to your brain.
A little phenibity.
Really?
Yeah, like if you've ever had like a straight dose of GAA, it's got a little phenibit tingle to
It
it.
actually gets into your brain faster than I guess your brain's. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's the most energy hungry organ in the body.
Well, yeah. I mean, anything with a lot of mitochondria is going to be energy
So
hungry.
it gets into your brain faster, so you can feel it. So it definitely has for cognition. It's great.
As far as like forming brain creatine, this thing's got it in spades. Oh, you got the sleep on there.
Yeah.
Okay, the launch products that we're playing with, there's the sleep, there's the pre-workout, there's the creatine, and then possible hydration.
Yeah, electrolytes. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the plan.
But the sleep's got 2 different peptides. We use Lactium, which I've used in several other sleep formulas before, but it's also got a Pepti Sleep in there as well. So those are 2 different peptides. Once again, liposomal on both of them, and like it's a banger formula. And we're gonna have this melatonin free and melatonin.
That and the recovery component was. You didn't want to just give good sleep, which helps with recovery. We put the PEA in
Yeah.
there, which can help with delayed onset muscle soreness and different.
All of the inflammation, the DOMs, like all that. Like we've really made something that's like a comprehensive, not just sleep, but sleep and recovery kind of formula.
Yeah, and the Pep to Sleep, I learned something new today about the orexin.
Oh yeah, that it
And
works
that's
on that
On
pathway.
that waking signal, which is a big deal for people with sleep issues.
And there's a fire truck going by. There's not a lot of ingredients that really work on the orexin A pathway when it comes to promoting sleep and being able to help you wake up. And then there's like also some fringe cortisol reduction properties.
There's only 3 prescription drugs, and they're all of the same, and they're all under patent until like 2030 something that actually hit that pathway. So
It is
yeah.
a rare bird, to say the least.
Yeah.
We should have Neritos come on, talk about their peptides one day.
That's gonna be a tough one to educate on, I think.
The sleep. I think if
Most
listen,
people just take it and feel it and fall asleep, and then that's good enough.
Yeah.
I think if it's talked about correctly, you don't
With the right authority.
with the right, yeah. And
That's
if you've
the
ever
thing,
had, like,
right?
as a
Totally.
person who suffers some sleep issues, I
I feel
think
like
that
when this brand really gets its legs going, you're gonna need some firepower with the athletes or something.
We're working on it right now. I think hopefully by the time we launch, we're looking at some faces of the brand, folks that are, have some authority, like you said, in the space that are, have built trust within their communities and others that they can really talk about these products.
We got a
So
really good
we're excited.
media agency out of New York City.
Out of New York, yeah, totally.
Guy's good. He's been successful. Sold his last company in LA, went to New York, and he's on it.
His name's Jeff Frommer. He's great.
He's really good.
Yeah.
So
He was
Nice.
just out in Dubai, like sourcing, folks for us. So yeah, it's
I love that there's a plan because when we first got into this, I was like, man, you're going to need some firepower.
Yeah.
Hope it's ambitious. Hope you guys are
Gonna need gas.
ready for it.
So
Yeah.
it'll come in waves. I think we tried to launch last year. Remember at Expo West.
Yep.
yeah, we sampled product there, but we didn't have any packaging or we had imagery and some we had a lot of interest and
Yeah,
we just
I think that's all we had were the pictures. We didn't have the product was stuck at the border. Remember?
Oh yeah.
We couldn't even
we had,
get it.
We
yeah.
had some. We had some of the pre-workout and
the
creatine,
dispensers.
but there was I think the blue raspberry and some of the other flavors that we were working on didn't make it through customs. And
Are you guys doing Expo this year?
yeah, we got a big present. We have a pretty significant booth. We've
20
got
by
it,
20.
and it's kind of split into two. So we've got these two different worlds between the Aurora brand and the Creo brand. Video. Nick's done some cool work with working with mixologists and coming up with some
Mocktails.
mocktails
Yeah.
for we've got a glutarita and an NAD Palermo and some things. So we'll be serving those. And then on the Creo side, we've got some interesting stuff.
No, it'll be good. It'll be a lot of fun. I think
go
it'll
check that out.
It'll be a big launch. We're utilizing our 20 by 20 space. Like Phil said, we're really trying to create a world, right, that you step into the brand and kind of feel, our vibe or the kind of brutalist juxtaposition of like our wellness brand, with Aurora and then Creo, the other side of like the athlete. So kind of hard and soft. It'll be really nice. And like you said, we've been messing around with mocktails. I think what's different with our liquid versus others is that it is very, how would you say? It's
Viscous.
Viscous, that's the right word. Yeah, others are more gel form. Ours is viscous, and so it mixes really well. So instead of just passing out samples at events, we've been doing mocktails to kind of get awareness around it. And people love it. They're like super into it, especially right now. I think there's a big movement where a lot of folks aren't drinking anymore. They're kind of just tapping into other,
Yeah,
maybe
the alcohol
stuff.
consumption's way down. So we were in New York City a while back ago and worked with the restaurant where they do these high-end mocktails.
Yeah.
And so we went and did that. And then we've done some pretty cool events in LA with some partners that we work with, like Aloe.
Yeah.
The One Hotel, like folks
One
like
Hotel.
that. Yeah, so it's been
One Hotel Sunset, One Hotel. We worked with some of the hotels in Miami.
Yeah, we
that
worked
crowd's been really receptive to it. So they have these run clubs. They get 200-300 people. They go out on a run. They come back and Nick's
want
got a
some-
bar set up. And
So
everything.
instead of getting fucked up, they can get a boost.
yeah,
exactly.
they do that.
Curcumin or a NAD plus.
Cool, super
yeah,
cool
a little bump,
community of
as I
people.
like to
and
say.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Nice. Yeah,
that's
it's
actually
fun.
a lovely idea.
It's been a lot of fun.
It has worked really well.
Yeah.
I think somebody
I can
copied
see a
this
brand
or
like
something
this
on it.
doing really well with like High Rocks and like that crowd too.
Yeah. Well, we're actually going to be at another little bump of our launch. Is going to be at Wadapalooza in Miami in March, which will be fun. There's like 40,000 people there, and yeah, it'll be good. We're gonna like sample products. We've customized grip tape, the whole thing. So yeah,
Sick.
Yeah, that's going to be a big one.
I'll have to go.
When's
out and check
Wadapalooza
some of those
again?
out.
it's this.
It's the week after Expo.
Yeah. Exactly.
Wow.
So it's going to be a little.
Y'all gotta be busy.
Yeah.
It's going to be kind of. Well, I'm going to have to do a lot of things I don't really enjoy doing, which is a lot of travel.
Interfacing with people and customers.
I don't mind that. I think the travel.
Yeah.
It takes you off your. If you're training a lot and that kind of stuff, it knocks you off all that in your diet. But
Where's MLB spring training at?
Phoenix.
Okay, so you're going to be going from LA to Phoenix to Florida.
Well, LA, we go Phoenix, then we got about a month,
Yeah.
and then it gets kind of shitty and crazy from there.
Yeah.
But it'll be fun work.
Are you all doing Supply Side or Arnold or Olympia or anything like that?
They're on the list. We've got.
What about international?
I haven't really crossed that bridge
Yeah,
because
not
that's
yet.
like we got enough issues with trying to cover. I don't know. That's something I haven't really discussed with the people over at Aurora. But
Dubai muscle shows. Like what? Is that before supply side?
It's the week after.
Week after.
we'll
It's in
do.
Dubai?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you said, yeah.
Yeah, we're
looking at Arnold.
We're doing a booth there.
They're very like liposomal curious.
Arnold,
for sure.
Olympia. There's some stuff with NFL, NHL.
You're kind of taking a lot of different routes with these pro sports athletes.
I mean, we're kind of going after them all from their different ways. We have a guy on the team that specializes in that space. That he sold saunas and different things like that into major league or professional sports and the Division I colleges. So he's got a pretty good Rolodex of people that he's worked with, even the military.
The other thing that's kind of like worth explaining about these products is all these are stick packs with powder. And being a liposome in a powder is a whole different kind of concept. But what it does is it actually increases stability in these things. So it's like if you took like your liquid stick packs and you just dehydrated them until those things were powder, it effectively like shrinks the liposome around these active ingredients. But once you put it back in water, those things rehydrate and kind of spring back to life. And I didn't even know that was an option on the table until like David was like, no, we've found a way that we're effectively like freeze drying this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then it just immediately reconstitutes when it's back in water. So like and
then it's all validated by the University of Toronto. And then the shelf life's better. We can go longer. It's better for us to be able to fill orders because we can carry more inventory. We've got the 2+ year shelf life on it, so it helps a lot.
Well, it's the same technology used in the capsules, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, you're taking your pills with some water, and as soon as those things bust open in your stomach, they're just going to...
At least the drying part is.
Yeah.
And then they got to put the other things in, the flavoring and sweeteners and that kind of stuff.
How do they taste?
Fantastic. I think if you look at where we've gone from in the legacy line on the creatine product,
such an improvement
to where we're at now. Now it tastes like typically we're
it's not sucralose. I'll say that as a disclaimer, but we can't. I mean, like based on the distribution channels.
If you look at our main,
and we can't be at Expo West if we're sucralose.
And when I
Crazy.
mean, I hopefully if we do our job correctly, we're going to make sucralose a bad word.
But I mean, we got that sweet advantage.
I mean, it's a chlorinated sweetener. It's really not any good for you. It really has no business in a health product, and most people just aren't aware of it. So that's part of that education process. Is if you shouldn't be drinking it.
But I mean, no one's really had a good option until now. And like, this is going to be the next best thing.
Yeah, we have watermelon, blue raz is another one.
I think we're starting with just watermelon. We'll do fruit punch, blue raz. We'll bring them out. I think just getting through all these certifications has been pretty arduous.
I think it's funny that y'all went with the flavors that I just kind of mocked up as concepts because I was just like, yeah, grape, whatever.
Yeah.
And it just turned out to
And
be
then it ended up being,
I didn't know.
yeah.
Well, I mean, like the energetic tone of the purple and everything kind of fits.
I just thought it looked
works.
good. Yeah. I thought the purple looked good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think as it branches out, and you start thinking, then we'll start adding flavors. But you look at a lot of these brands, they drop new flavors, not new products. Sometimes they get a little.
Well, it's a marketing strategy.
And the majority of the ones that sell are the simplest ones. Like it's one flavor. That's
Really?
it.
Yeah.
And you can color code it that way. Or it's like, orange. Fruit punch, which is like, it's very simple. But the fruit punch and blue raz are historically like the top two.
Yeah.
Because especially newcomers, they're not going to go out on a limb and try something wild.
Yeah. You see that in like the, what do you call it? Flavored, water drinks that like they tried the
Liquid
other.
IV.
Yeah, all those kind of things. And even just, what do you call them? My God.
Electrolytes? Or?
No, fucking A. I can't.
Popsicles?
No, I want a popsicle right now.
Makes you think about it.
Yeah, no. What do you call it? Like LaCroix. What's that? It's
the sparkling
flavored
like a
waters.
sparkling water, right?
Yeah,
a lot of these brands,
flavored
they try and do these like
Crazy
collaborators,
flavors.
and then they end up going back to what works, just the simple things. Because that's what people want. They want an orange.
I buy
drink.
like the lime.
Right. They want lime, right? Like
Car
simple
actually
things.
has a pretty good range of stuff like that.
They did good. Poppy is the one that kind of expanded out and then kind of come back.
Yeah.
So big brand.
But generally, like your orange, your limes, that kind of stuff in your flavored waters generally work the best. But
Yeah.
whatever.
Do some That's Bullshit.
Okay. What do you got for us, Eduardo?
So this is a segment where we go on the internet and look at
Oh my
what
God!
crazy
what the fuck
people
is
are
this?
saying.
I'm so
What if I'm
excited.
destroying my skin? Is this just a hook?
We just want to see what Phil's going to say about whatever this guy's got to say.
I'm not quite sure what he did or what he took.
He's getting
He may have
commission though.
Destroyed his skin.
You got to give us some volume on this. Your video's muted. Top left.
Right there.
There we go.
Nasty hyperpigmentation. My face was always inflamed. This was like 5 months ago or so, and I started taking the capsules at first. Took them for about a few weeks, and I noticed my skin got even worse. More breakouts than ever. I had this little knot that I couldn't even close my eye all the way. I thought it was a scam after that. I had bought those capsules from like some random website online, but it turns out that most of those capsules just die off in your gut because they get dissolved by your stomach acid. It turns out I was taking the wrong form of glutathione. So I switched to these liposomal strips. It's just a strip that dissolves right onto your tongue. It tastes like candy too. It absorbs straight into your bloodstream and skipping right past your gut. And only after a few weeks of me taking this, I started seeing a 9-day difference in my face. So when I started noticing my dark spots going away, not having those returning breakouts. So you've been thinking glutathione's not working for you, definitely try out these strips because you're probably just taking the wrong form. Once I did, it pretty much changed everything for me. And a couple of fakes of this brand going around.
He's definitely getting a commission.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. He's doing not a bad job though.
Yeah, I mean,
For the masses.
I doubt that
I don't know about the
the
strips.
powdered glutathione did anything harmful to him. I think he was just creating
The hook.
Yeah,
hook, it's the hook, for sure.
Yeah, he's creating
Yeah.
a hook. As far as the strip being liposomal, who
How
knows?
much do you think he's getting on that strip?
Will depend of the actual glutathione.
I
We'll go look at
don't
what it
know, but
says.
there's a lot of guys bigger and a lot more influence than him that are
Can you pull
schlepping
up the
some
product?
stuff too.
Surely he's got a link to TikTok Shop.
Yeah. Link in bio.
So
It says eligible for commission.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use my crystal ball here. Okay. I'm gonna say 70 milligrams tops. I'm assuming.
Well, you're
100.
looking at that strip going, how much glutathione could really be
I'm
in there?
assuming 100
Here she
milligrams.
is.
As
So-
Korea's number one. I'm 70% loading capacity. Where are we at?
80 grams. 80
80.
milligrams. So you were close.
Not far off if this was prices
Not
right out of
far.
one.
Well, where's the rest of the ingredients? It says. Okay, so first of all, in Korea, I know this for a fact. They can't use glutathione. They have to use a food extract with.
It says liposomal yeast.
Yeah, it's a yeast
Extract.
extract because it's illegal to sell glutathione in Korea.
Why?
I
So-
think they're just dancing around it. They're probably using straight glutathione liposomal, and they're calling it that. Because I've also seen people. Who
No, I know
go
this
to
from
those
dealing.
markets.
I've know this from dealing with David in the Korean market. They have to use a yeast form, or and then get permission from the Korean government to actually import the product.
Formulated by Dr. Esther.
But I don't see any.
There's no other
phospholipid-
information.
I don't see any phospholipids or lecithin or something that.
Click that and see if there's any more images.
And I don't think 80 milligrams is enough to actually get.
I mean, if you eat
A
5
discernible-
of them, maybe.
Yeah.
Like there's only 30
1 to
strips.
2
though.
for daily maintenance. Use up to 3 to 4 as needed.
Yeah.
It's like a 10-day supply.
And there's Dr. Esther.
She's trustable for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. They seem to be kind of prone to these type of gimmicks.
That's crazy that there's no more information. I mean, I guess maybe down below.
I mean, for 40.
Is there more in like the
Product
For
description.
$44, we have a 500 milligram product that,
How much is this one?
36 something, I think. 36.99 or
Go up to the top. $36.99
yeah.
for
Jesus.
80 milligrams times 30. So you're getting 3.2 grams total of
We
glutathione.
have 500 for 44, and for
Times-
a little more than that, we have 750.
Wow.
So, and then I guess another thing about
They've sold
glutathione,
1,000 in the past month.
No.
I don't know, is this Amazon America?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's crazy about that is it's such a low dose that you're not going to get the desired effect. If you're taking a little bit for a little bit of health purposes, but to get a discernible difference or noticeable difference on your skin, I don't think it's going to happen with that amount.
No, I think that guy is completely fibbing
So,
about his
that's-
testimonial.
Yeah.
One of our competitors was promoting the same thing, almost like a skin brightening, which is kind of code for lightning. And it's kind of politically incorrect to talk about, but we'll tiptoe into that a bit. But glutathione in high amounts is a melanin disruptor. So if
Same
you
with
have
vitamin C.
Yeah. So that's usually why they put that in there. But like if you take enough glutathione, it'll disrupt that melanin
That's
production.
probably why it's popular in like Korean markets.
That's exactly why.
why.
Any of that. So that's why they use it. And
We
it'll
say
do-
it evens out your skin tone. That's
Well,
kind
we
of
call
like
it a brightener, but
yeah.
over there they'll call it a whitener.
So
Right?
is
But
it,
in order to do
is it like pretty much marketed like a cosmetic?
Yeah, I mean we call
that's
it
why
like
they do high dose IVs there.
the best kept beauty secret. It is good for your skin.
But
I mean,
And there's
80
a lot of
milligrams ain't going to
transdermals.
happen.
yeah,
Like
And you'd have to
serums.
take high doses of it, and you need to stay out of the sun, wear a sunscreen,
yeah.
and over a period of time, it can gradually lighten your skin.
Look at how many different liposomal glutathione strips there are.
Fascinating.
That is bananas.
Yeah.
Well, look at the prices too.
And how many are Korean?
All of them.
All of them, yeah, they look like it.
They're probably
Based on
all,
the branding.
Probably all made at the same place.
Yeah, right.
That's probably
Totally.
true.
Well, that's like the plastic surgery cap per capita. I think is the highest in South Korea. I want to say.
Really?
Yeah,
I
Even
had
with the
no
men.
idea.
Yeah, they're crazy for it. But yeah, I mean, I don't think that's a real.
It's not
It's not,
something
it's
you.
not
Would,
an efficacious dose.
not something you'd be buying.
No.
Well,
Definitely-
I mean,
definitely.
South Korea tends to pride themselves on being pretty advanced in the supplement game. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if they were like legit liposomes. There's just no information.
They're
on-
also
on
big
the
on
package.
basically shilling stuff on the home shop.
Yeah.
That's their big deal. It was over here, nobody does it.
Well, we have the TikTok now.
But over there, it's all about the home shopping network, and you get an influencer, and that influencer will be the draw. They get an actress or a celebrity or something like that to endorse a product. It's about about making money. So
What about it, Eduardo? You got some more bullshit for us?
Bullshit.
Oh, man.
Ozempic. It's got some fake eyelashes on her.
You're muted. You're muted. Come on, old son.
In Periphery Nature's Ozempic, let's look at the way that they work. Ozempic is a GLP-1 agonist, meaning that it mimics a hormone
He's
in
in
your body that
scrubs.
tells your brain that you are full. It slows the emptying of your stomach contents into the intestines, and it helps your pancreas to release a little bit more insulin. Berberine essentially does not work in any of those ways. It may slow down absorption of glucose in the intestines, which can lower your blood sugar. It does have some anti-inflammatory effects, which can be helpful for overall metabolic health, and it may help to increase the production of bile acids, which can help you digest, especially fats, a little bit better. However, when it comes to weight loss, it does not compare in any way to Ozempic. So if you need to lose market amounts of weight,
I thought he was right on, but
I actually like this guy.
yeah, he was straight shooting.
He's
You and I
being
had
the
this
voice of
conversation
reason.
earlier today.
Yeah.
It was a
And
good
it
video
works
too.
in no way the same.
It's blood sugar control.
But then,
Berberines great.
then
Yeah.
we've got this video right here.
Yeah.
Who's she?
Does she even say anything? All right, let's look at that product,
It
please.
says Ozempic in herb form.
Oh, it's Nutraflare.
I'm not even getting paid to say this, but as someone who was on Wegovy for 6 months, yes, this absolutely works to curb appetite and reduce cravings. I spit out a donut that is very off-brand for me. Hashtag berberine.
It's bullshit.
I just want to see the product.
Yeah, it really is. And they're
Now-
probably not even using a high quality berberine. It's berberine's
Nutraflare again.
Yeah, I know my favorite people, but it's one of the hardest ingredients to source. He can vouch to that.
There's
almost all of it. Almost all of it when it gets tested fails. There's only a couple of branded ones that actually have, and they're a hell of a lot more expensive.
There's
than-
also a
than-
controversy over synthetic versus natural berberine.
that's a
right now.
synthetic.
Does it-
right?
NMB makes a good
H-
berberine.
yeah, that's a HC.
Well, that's different. It's dihydroberberine. It's a whole different thing. All right, where's the ingredients on this? So this is, please don't be a gummy. It's 2 capsules. Okay, 1,200 milligrams of berberine and 100 milligrams of Ceylon cinnamon. Okay, I buy that.
Can you get 1,200 in there?
Wait, let me see that again. The panel. 8%. What? Berberine hydrochloride 8%. First of all, that could be an extract with a natural occurrence of berberine at 8%. Now,
It's a bogus product.
it is very bogus because you get 1,200 milligrams of something that's 8%.
It's crazy.
So,
They have
like,
18,000 reviews. Insane.
These guys are laughing all the way to the bank.
Oh,
and they
all
saw
the
a
way
lot
to
of
the
that.
bank. All the way to the bank.
I gotta
It's
say,
insane.
consumer, if you're listening to this, beware. Yeah. If I were a lawyer, I'd be a class action guy on these guys.
oh man, go to this brand. I'm interested in what else they have.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I really would be.
Yeah.
And I think you're out ripe.
This is the second time we've run across these guys today. Apple cider vinegar.
We ran across it at supply side, talking to a supplier that had a very expensive branded ingredient. And when I brought it up to David over at Aurora, he just said, Phil, do the math. It doesn't work. It's physically impossible. So
We
we
have a
asked
liposome.
the CFO
Let's see the
and the
glutathione.
national sales
Yeah.
manager, are they a customer? And they looked in it and they said,
What's
not.
the
I said,
ingredients
have
on
your
that?
legal team talk to them.
Oh wow.
They're not even a customer.
So that actually looks rational.
What's Citria? Is that a brand?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's Kiwa's.
Yeah.
Is this from Nutriflare?
Yeah.
But I talked to them and they're not a customer.
They're not.
They're not. I talked to their CFO. Yeah, David and I had it because David said it's impossible to sell it at that price.
What's the price?
It's like 30.
Oh my God! First of all, no one is selling 700 milligrams of glutathione
for
okay?
30 for
Yeah.
$34.99.
That's impossible.
It's impossible. You do the math on it. It does because that's an expensive. It's a very good product. They're a really good company, but you're going to pay a big premium for that deal. We buy glutathione that David does a lot of testing on, and it allows us to do a high dose. That
Is
is
there a way that you
legitimate.
can text that to me from your computer? The link to that?
But I brought this up to them at supply side.
You brought it up to Kiwa, or who'd you bring it up to?
I brought it up to them. Their CFO.
Okay, yeah.
But you've talked to them more than I do, so you got to bring it back up to them because clearly they haven't done anything about it. Wow. And you know that like, as a person that's been in this business, it kind of just
Ticks you off?
it really does, especially when you're doing the things the right way and you spend all the money to do it right, and then you see that and you just kind of.
There's no way that they're not using Cetria. They have Cetria on their label, but that there's no.
It's impossible.
Based on math. Like, yeah. Go back to that brand. What else do they have? Like, if there's any target for
Fraud alert.
for a class action
know.
lawsuit,
Let's flag 'em.
Joey's just spilling the tea all around the place.
I
Well,
love
I
these
don't mind. I
guys.
don't mind
Call
doing
them
out.
out.
I
Fuck
don't
'em.
like to be that guy either. But
You
know,
don't? Yes, you do.
it's,
Don't lie.
He didn't like people to know that he's that guy.
go to their contacts.
No,
Where are these
you
guys
want people
from?
to win,
Where are
but
they from?
but call their bullshit.
if they're
too.
good, I'll
Yeah,
give them credit.
for
Even
sure.
if they're a competitor, you say, "Well done."
Well,
Yeah,
these guys are
100%, yeah.
really altruistic if they're giving away 700 milligram liposomal Cetria for $34.99. They're just trying to make the world a better place. Trying to pay my scientists.
yeah.
What's that clip from Righteous Gemstones?
And these
Do
guys
I
are,
make any money?
These guys
Hell
are
no.
a massive. This is a massive Amazon
About
seller.
us.
Yeah,
I
they
wish
must
Amazon would bring down the hammer on these guys.
Well, if there's any like kind of third party like product testing on Seattle, Washington Chinese import, calling it.
There it is, right?
Yeah.
You should buy some. And,
That's the second brand that we saw in Seattle.
Well, that's the
Well,
same
it's
guy.
the same
Oh, it was the
Yeah.
same one?
Yeah.
They're the same one that do the fat soluble C and then call it, throw a little.
This is what our
throw a
Instagram
little
used to look
emulsion
like
complex in there and call
before
it a
it came on.
liposome.
That's what it used to look
Yeah,
like.
that's what it used to look like before. I
Bunch
started.
of stock images.
Yep.
Yeah, these guys
They're good Amazon marketers.
Are y'all gonna do
And they
Amazon?
hit price points.
Go back
Yeah,
go
we
back
are.
to their Amazon page. I want to see if they're selling like a ton of product.
They
are.
were. We just looked at it.
We ran their
Well,
number.
the strips were doing 1,000 a month. I'm just curious, like bestsellers. Okay, liposomal vitamin C. Click that.
Oh, I bet you.
10,000 sold in the last month.
Oh my
It's
God! How does
crazy.
that make you feel?
Irritated.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people, what's crazy is even
a lot
I think
of
there was an
expensive
article
pee,
written
that's
about,
for sure.
about
Well,
some of
that
the stuff.
really like undermines the market integrity of liposomal vitamin C. If they're like,
Yeah.
"Fuck you, I can get it for $18 on Amazon."
Well, they said even ones with good reviews. it doesn't mean anything on Amazon.
No.
It really doesn't.
Well, I thought that they were cracking down on that kind of stuff and trying to make those things more legitimate.
Well,
but
they are. Like our office manager and our compliance officer, Natalie Tellick.
Yeah.
She's had to submit all the NSF certifications, and so even people on our staff have to have NSF certification to do what we do. So she submitted all the NSF certification to Amazon because that's the new standard. At least that'll verify the content, right?
Yeah.
But it won't deal with some of this, like, is it liposomal or not liposomal? And I don't know that Amazon's evolved enough to catch that, like, in that process yet. They need to. I've bitched about it a lot to people.
I know
but
that these guys, they cannot have any passing data on their QA/QC tests. Like, there's no way.
Why don't you test them with the foundation?
Maybe. I just got to get a wild hair. I got a couple other rounds of testing we got to get out of the way before they're in line.
Yeah.
But I think liposomal vitamin C would be a good one. And if I could get cryo temps of each sample that I get of
we do it all the
liposomal.
time with brands. David does. I buy stuff all the time and send it to him. And so we know there's some stuff out there that are pretty well known and that don't meet what they say. One of the really big ones is far short of 1,000 milligrams.
I would like to bust people on particle size and loading capacity. Those are the top two things that I would really like to address when it comes to, like, leveling the playing field of liposomes.
Yeah.
Just to see who's doing the right thing and who's not.
Yeah, one of them I heard from somebody at Life Extension that used to work for was a pretty high scientist type guy, and he said that they had run the lab that he had run. One of them had done some studies and they picked up solvents in micro amounts in the liposomal formula, but they're below the detection limits that they have to report.
Yeah.
But he said if you know anything about these things, any of them in your system aren't good.
Well, and
But they don't have to report it. So the company that paid for the study, which is a pretty big brand, threw the study out.
And there's a lot of different ways to make these things. Some of them you don't use any solvents. Some of these are self-assembling, nano dispersions.
Yeah, some of them are how they take something aqueous could just be mechanical or whatever, how they do it.
Or they put it through a pour, they do oil and water and oil emulsions, or just do shear forces and like stirring really fast. There's a lot of different ways you can make liposomes. It's really a crapshoot on knowing who's going to have the right kind.
Well, and then also be able to do it where it's scalable.
Yeah.
Repeatable, and then you got to get into what's the cost to do it. And that's where I think, the guys at Aurora have done a good job is they found a way to do them in large quantities and do them at a price that's accessible, which is one of the things we set out to do. Because, the better the reach.
Well, that's like one of the things like the consumer should know. Like, yes, liposomal is superior with a catch because not everyone does it the same way. Not everyone does it clean. Not everyone does it consistent. And, some of these things unless they're like NSF certified on Amazon, I would not trust them.
Yeah.
I would,
or at least maintain some skepticism.
There's some stuff out there, we all do it. You want to try something new and, there's certain ingredients out there that, especially new ones like urolithin A and stuff. But, if it looks too good to be true, and it's a third the price of something that is legit, I got to be suspect of that.
Let's do some flavor sampling. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I picked this up earlier and I saw that this was reported on Stacked 3D. This is the winter edition Red Bull, which is an iced vanilla berry.
This is Red Bull?
Yes. So Red Bull does like these seasonal one-offs, and I find them interesting.
Thank you.
This is like, they're not doing their standard Red Bull flavor or anything like that, and it just seems interesting because they'll do like LTOs. They did a June berry. I don't even know what a June berry is.
What the fuck's a June berry?
I didn't like that one.
I thought it was okay. They did a strawberry apricot that I thought was impressive.
Sucralose or no sucralose? I'm having a hard time.
I would wager this is sucralose.
I would bet it is.
Do you do all natural all the time? Do you ever do sucralose?
Like personally?
Yeah.
No, I stay away from it.
Yeah.
But I'm not like weirded out by it. If I go to Expo or Supply Side and I get some
This is sugar.
cool samples, something that uses sucralose, and I like the product.
I bought
sugar-free.
I bought a sugar and a sugar.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. Check these. They're
So I'm not like
all right. Well,
like crazy.
we'll give you
freak
guys
about
the
it, but I
ones
try to
with the
stay away
sugar
from it.
then. Okay.
Fine. I'll take the calories.
Oh, you want the sucralose?
We're gonna go eat some Mexican food after this. Some Tex-Mex.
Tex-Mex.
Y'all are in for a treat.
Hey, right, amigo?
See.
You've had Tex-Mex. So
Yeah,
you
of
lived in
course,
Texas. You've had Tex-Mex.
I've spent a fair amount of time in Texas through my other
It's
career.
fucking awesome, right now.
Some of my other businesses that we're in, some of my best customers and probably the best rep firm in the country we have. They're guys based out of Texas.
Yours is
They're
no
great
sugar.
guys.
I got
Right,
sugar.
so- God, I love that vanilla note on the front end.
Ooh, it's like a
blueberry.
vanilla Coke.
I actually think it tastes pretty good.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm not mad.
I like the vanilla.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I think it tastes better than a regular Red Bull.
Well, it's iconic as that taste. It
I
has
think-
its own thing to it.
Because you're used to it.
Yeah,
you
it
know?
reminds me of
It's its
vomit.
own,
Nostalgia
its
to
own
it.
brand, right?
Yeah.
Like,
But I can't believe people still are not
Talking
not
about
gonna finish
incredible
it?
brands,
Like
I mean,
Red
that's
Bulls and
who I
vodka.
definitely want us to have
Top-
the Red Bull effect, right?
top 3 in the world,
Yeah.
right?
It's insane.
Oh, when you're a major sponsor of F1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Major sponsor at people
Well,
jumping
you guys
off
need
of
to
hot
hurry
air
up and
balloons.
get there so I can tell everybody I made that logo.
We're working on it.
You know my F1 sponsorship. Woo,
Yeah.
that's big time.
That was nice. It wasn't thick either. It was like,
I think they did a good job. Well done, guys.
I didn't know I would really enjoy vanilla and berry in an energy drink.
That's a flavoring trend. You and I have been talking about
Yeah.
that vanilla. Remember?
yeah.
Just hints of vanilla.
Yeah.
Well,
That's the thing. They did okay.
Might be something you want to start playing
Start
around
playing with it?
playing with in your toolkit. Yeah.
I just did a vanilla orange cream like last week, and I was like, this is amazing. And,
Like
and
a 50-50 bar? Remember those? Yeah.
I have no idea what that is.
Oh. Popsicle.
And then I saw this thing come out, and I was like, like, okay, there's more to it. And I did a few months ago, I did some sort of like a vanilla strawberry that somebody wanted, and I was just like, oh, that's weird for a pre-workout.
Yeah.
But now it's not so weird. I get it now.
So where can we find you guys?
on Creo, well, I mean, we have good distribution
Like
And
on
like
the
not-
internet.
on the internet. Go ahead and you give them that.
If
my God,
somebody
you can
says,
go
"Man,
there."
Phil was really interesting guy," I'd like to reach out to him. He probably knows some stuff, and I want to connect with him. Where how they can find you?
How do the people find you?
How do they find me?
Not on Instagram.
I'm not a big social media guy, probably because it's just by way of age and just wasn't in that. But I
Yeah.
do. they
Because
can
you're
reach out-
because you're 80.
I'm 80. Yeah, I don't even know how to use it. I would say through our Instagram.
Yeah.
What's the handle on that?
You can hit us up for Aurora. Aurora Nutriscience is the handle. Creo, we have just Creo, Kreo is the Instagram handle. So
And
hit
Vita
us up
Life
there.
Science, you got that.
And then Vita Life Science as well.
through our website, vitalifescience.com. I'm pretty accessible though. People reach. I talk to customers all the time. I mean, like if
Through the website or through
Yeah, or
LinkedIn.
if they call and they've got a question and stuff.
We literally
I mean,
have a phone, like a landline. So
Really?
you can call. You
Yeah,
can
we-
call our landline.
yeah, you can get me on the
number's
phone. I'm not hard to get on the
website.
phone.
Yeah.
at all.
You're going to regret that. We've got people that will call you and talk to you about liposomes for a while.
I don't. You know, I actually
Talking to
don't.
the right person. Then.
I've
How much
even
time
had
do you
people
have?
it started off even kind of contentious and then wind up having a pretty good relationship with them over, getting snippy about a product or whatever and about the science of something and then kind of coming to a middle ground and then you develop kind of a friendship with them.
You are from LA, so
Yeah.
that is a thing. I think.
No, you know what?
Yeah,
you know what's the
friendly.
funny thing is
We get a bad rap.
Nick's
We're good people.
I'm in Orange County, right? Nick's
Yeah.
up in West LA, so he's right in the thick of it. And we do all these events up there in West LA, and we've done them in New York, we've done them in Miami. But
Yeah.
I got to tell you, the people in LA when we do these events have been the nicest, engaged, and interested. They're not anything like what a lot of the people
They're
way
also
that-
your client base, I would say, like for the
we
product
hit
seller
it.
making.
And they understand the assignment too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They're
They come
not,
to the event.
they're not snooty. They're not. They've
post
been
on
really
social.
good. They've been really
Yeah.
I
good.
mean, you could have anyone from like, someone who's in college to like someone who's like 80 years old calling you, asking about this stuff.
But a lot of them are young. But we've done events up in like on Mulholland Drive with the guy that was,
We had
the guy that discovered Kid
Kid
Rock.
Rock,
and-
at his mansion.
I could see you doing like
Yeah.
wet sampling in Erewhon, places like that.
Yeah, that's
Partnering with them and doing something special.
That's the goal. We want to do some collaborations. I think that's, last year we got outside. We did a lot of outdoor events, and this year is just definitely going to be on growth and collaborations with partners. And so if you're listening and you want to connect, let's do it. We want to cross over, want to build a community for sure.
So Instagram, LinkedIn,
Check them out.
check out the website.
Our landline.
Be to Life Science.
Yeah, you can call. You can call the number and get us on the phone. We're not tough to get. Most of the time somebody.
We'll be at
will answer
Expo
the phone.
West. If anyone's there at Expo, come to our booth.
Yeah,
come say hi.
debuting Creo. You're going to see the wellness capsules, the clinical line. So definitely come by, check it out. We'll have the mocktails. We'll put some interactive stuff too in the Creo stuff.
Have
Make
some
it fun.
fun.
We'll be giving out product and different assortment of different things.
We're gonna have to find some passes to get to Expo West.
Yep.
Yeah, passes won't be a problem. We can probably get you badges. That's not an issue.
Well, there you go. We're going.
Check them out. Be to Life Science. And we'll see you guys next time on Suppworks Podcast.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.